Hello everybody, hi GPS here, bringing you a cast of a game that we played yesterday of Mad Machines, where the robots just destroyed the humans. So I thought I would cast this game and just show like kind of what happened and how you can learn from this as a player and how I also can learn from this. There's a lot of different nuances and stuff that's very important to note about like this mode, because it's asymmetric, and that you, especially both for robots and humans, you have to make the right choices in order to just not get completely run over, because a good player on a robot makes a whole lot more difference than a good player as a human, because the ratio is 3-to-1. Right, so there's 3 robots per every human. As far as player counts and, rounding and stuff goes, we're still working on getting that correct. But overall, the composition starting from the humans, I would say, is pretty good. Could probably use a pyro, but there's only 3 robots for now. And the robots are running the barricade, which I think is not a good choice here. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time and maybe not familiar with all these robots, like all the robots have like their own shtick and have some very clear weaknesses and not. So basically, this sentry has a lot of health, but it's big and it blocks stuff. It's basically a barricade, and that's sort of like the idea of barricade, is to put up barricades. And this is not going to stop anyone because it's so huge. It's just going to get hit by everything and get taken down. So I think any other engineer than barricade here would be pretty good. Like maybe if you played barricade and you barricaded like here, that would be good. But for the initial push, I don't really think that's a point. And here we have Devil, who's like, or the will. Yeah, you can see like he just walks up and instantly destroys it. But Ham isn't even, well, he's here now. Not entirely sure what the plan is, but that is a big sentry. But it doesn't have a lot of range. Humans coming in here with a uber push. It's Dilleray coming in here, so it's gonna mow down this, and you can, like, this has deceptively low range. For those that don't know, so we have Solar Light here, who has had quite a few changes to his movement speed and stuff like that, but now he's a bit faster, which and he can jump higher, so he can like do this sort of stuff and try and go for a pick. But there's a Pyro, and Pyros are generally a pretty good pick against any robot matchup, because you can just deny the melee robots from going where they want to, and then they have to sort of switch off or just get denied here. So as of right now, the robots, they don't have like the best synergy. You can see they're also pretty low, and like when you're this low as a robot, there's really no point in trying to like survive. You should just go in and die as quickly as possible, because you do get coins. There's no MVM money in this mode, but the robots, they do get coins every time they die. And you can buy better robot that you can play as until you die with the money you spent. So that is sort of to incentivize to like, oh, I have 3,000 base health. Oh no, I'm stuck at 300 health. Let me just heal up. All that. So fairly good composition here. Like, it's very well-rounded team, and the blue team is just sort of pushing in here. And so far the robots aren't really doing that well. But this is also a bit early in the session, so more players will be joining later. And the cart's just moving in. So let's see what the robots can do about this. Now, the robots are slow, but their kill zone is pretty deadly. Like this Riot Cop, he's a shotgun. He has 1 shot in the clip, but it deals a lot of damage. Actually, can I see the stats here? Yeah, alright, so here we can see the stats for this weapon. It's gonna one-shot this building if he knew how to aim. Maybe like the... Oh yeah, it's because like the height is set up, so like the sensitivity is mucked up. That's why it looks like his aim is like terrible, and he's actually 75% higher. So this robot will one-shot anything it gets close to, and it's sort of like it just stays on the cart. Very strong, but it has slow rate of fire, but deals a lot of damage. So how do you deal with this? Well, you kind of just outrange him. You stay at a range where he can't really hurt you, and you just kind of mow him down. He's not very fast, and he's a heavy. So you can see great play here from Alp. Like, the Fan of War is a very great tool, because then he takes mini crits, which means you can just stay further away, which is sort of like, you have to play with all the tools available to counter the robots. You can't just always go stock and run this one specific thing. So here we have a disruptor bot. This is Samurai. He is, like, if he gets one hit, he can just continue charging because he refills to charge every single hit. And he's a very cheesy, but he dies in one half set to HG swing. That's sort of like his mega Achilles heel. And then we also have Gotham Protector, which is just like a bot that gets resistance to the class whoever he punches. So if he punches a heavy, he gets bullet. Punches a soldier or demo, he gets explosive. And punches a pyro, he gets fire. And if he punches a medic, he heals. And if he punches a spy, he becomes invisible. So there's a whole lot of stuff here. So the first part here, the humans are doing fairly well. Also, this map is sort of like... It was really human favored, but now that Bill shit has updated the map and added more corridors and stuff, because generally what we see in this mode is that humans good in open spaces, bad in closed spaces, and that goes for the robots too. So here we have Ham playing a robot sniper, which is probably the most difficult class to get any sort of value out of, because you can't move while scoped. I actually didn't know that happened. Oh my god, that is hilarious. Oh boy. Is this where Ham types in the chat? Because when I was fast forwarding this earlier, I hate how easy it is to sneak onto a sniper's. Dude, you dodged the first one. You just absolutely didn't hear the second one. Wow, that is funny. Taunts don't one-shot, but they do a lot of damage, and I think they do like 1,000-something damage. I do think they one-shot the weaker classes. So far, I've been on medic this entire game. We have like double Uber, and we're going in. I have 23%, and they're going in with the Uber. And this is the ChatGPT robot, which is kind of OP, because he repairs good. So shooting the center is actually a pain in the ass, and then you have Bearded, the tank, that just goes in and punches people. Also has a leap. And then he boxes me into the corner, and then I just die. So here's a problem that happened, is that we have two engineers. Or we have an engineer, Arctic Man. So what he does is he removes the teleporter entrances, but then he, or the speed pads, and then he builds his entrance here when everybody goes out this door. So nobody really notices it there, because when you, let's see, like, there's gonna be some guys spawning in a couple of minutes, or a couple of seconds here. Let's see, so there's not really a whole lot of like super interesting stuff going on. So let's see how they spawn. They spawn like facing this way, but you're focused on this door, so you don't notice that, and you're just gonna run out. So we're gonna see that's actually gonna be kind of a detriment, because Arctic Man actually does a great job. Like, he's actually like sneaking around on the side here, because that's what you gotta do on the bigger maps. Like, as an engineer, you just go up, you set up some stuff where the robots can't see you, and then also if they are trying to kill the stuff you're building, they are not where they need to be on the cart, so other people can push and stuff. And that's like a big thing with this mode, is that like robots are strong when they're grouped together, so if you can take advantage of that and like get advantages from being where they aren't, you're gonna do pretty well. So right now the humans are trying to like push through here and fight the robots, and like tanks, they aren't really that scary, but they do kind of distract you, and you sort of have to deal with them a little bit. They do a lot of damage if they get up close to you, but they are easily countered. Like, one of the counter is like Demo Knight. If you or Mantreads or Jetpack, if you land on them, you stun them. And if you charge them with the shield, you also stun them. And if you have like the Persian Persuader, you can like, yeah, and also Uber Chains, like, and also the tanks take more damage from melee swings. So if you have like one demo man or two demo men with a shield and Persian Persuader, you can just basically chain stun them forever, and they don't get to play, and they have to switch off. But then again, they might switch off to something that Demo Knight isn't particularly good at. So here we actually have a very good setup. Like, the teleporter is active, he has a sentry, he has a dispenser. Like, this is great if anyone ever took his teleporter, because look at this. Look, Alp spawns. And like, that's like every single player just walks out this door. No one even notices, because I don't think you can even see the teleporter with how the door is. Maybe if there was some glass or you could see something, then you could see the teleporter there. So that's a detriment there. That's like a mistake, and also it's not being communicative. And also I think like if Arctic Man, if he paid attention and see like, if like as an engineer, you should pay attention to the top and see like, all right, someone on my team spawned, but nobody's taking my teleporter. Like, right now, Arctic Man, this has been like one person. I'm not even sure if Sluffer took the teleporter. I'm not sure if he knows. But at this point, like, he should definitely just run back and move his teleporter entrance. So here, actually, 2 robots are not where the cart is. And then will actually push us the cart. This is actually huge. You can see these 2 robots are here, so that means less robots here. So it actually pushes it a little bit, and this means we could follow if we weren't just trickling in because nobody's taking the teleporter and we're not really grouping together. Engineer is such an important class here because you help the respawn waves and you sort of dictate how your team attacks. And I'm not sure what Sluffer is doing there, but, you know, robots are... And then I think I die here. Yep. Robots, good close range, weak long range. Here we have Taku coming in here. Nice Girardi, but there's, like, no follow-up. Like, where's the humans? Well, they're... So now Arctic Man, seeing how few people took his teleporter, has decided to not move it, but rather have the exit here. And he has a dispenser up here that helps nobody. The dispenser needs to be on the low ground. Not that I think this helps, because we're kind of like going in one at a time. Maybe someone gets, like, you saw the sniper threw a good piss, and then nobody capitalized on the piss. And then we have Ham here being a warper. One of the robots that can warp to anywhere he has done damage. Sometimes you get stuck, other times you don't. Also, taking this roof is pretty good. You can, like, as an engineer, set up, you can build on the roofs. Set up shop here. We also have Taku going in for this very cheeky, and this should almost have it. I think if he had the paint train, I didn't see if he had ×2. If he had the paint train, that would have been a victory. But I think this is the closest the humans ever get this round, and we're gonna see exactly why. So, still we have the issue. Finally, Arctic Man has moved this, but it's been quite the amount of minutes where people have not been taking this teleporter. So right now he's using the dispenser for himself just to get everything upgraded, but like we need the dispenser like down on the ground somewhere. But this is not really a good approach. I think like over here or maybe like over this side or on top of this roof would be better approaches, but you can like inch forward. You can be kind of greedy as an engineer when you want to set up and stuff. So yeah, so how... Oh my god. Ham just teleported into the beggar's bazooka soldier as he shot. That was kind of cool. So yeah, we got sort of a push here, but like, if you think 3-to-1 robots, there's like 4 humans and there's 3 robots defending. Now there's 2, so we have like Alper just shelling down damage. We got Whirly just shelling out damage. Like, this should go to the humans, but let's see what happens. So, this bot is like a hybrid healer melee robot. But I gotta say, like, good damage from these guys, but they're getting no support. Right? Because the medics are here, and we don't really notice them being on the roof. Eventually, like, we're gonna notice them, but like, Arctic Man should see that, like having stuff on this roof is extremely strong, because you can just bully the robots and shoot forever, and still, his dispenser, not helping the team. So people will run out of ammo and health eventually. And Ham goes in here with a very tanky tank just to destroy this. And kills the engineer. And then it gets blocked. And of course, someone decided that this robot having Uber and self-repair was a good idea. He's just sitting there, not shooting, not doing anything. He has ammo, otherwise he would have not... done anything. Oh, okay, and that. So he sat there for the longest time, and then he jumped down. Okay, cool. Another push coming in here now with the battalion's backup. Heavy goes on the flank here. He's gonna run into the ChatGPT bot. If he gets 1 kill, he can just keep shooting like a machine gun, which he does. It's gonna go bang, 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 bang. Actually, isn't doing a lot. So the humans are actually putting on a lot of pressure. Now, the counter to healing is electrical weapons and the Blutsauger. Like, if you shoot Blutsauger on a target, you basically disable their heal. And here also, this is like a very nice area to have like dispensers and stuff. Like maybe back here, like I mentioned earlier, would be pretty good. And also taking this area is also pretty good. Because what, like the robots, they don't have projectiles. If you somehow as an engineer manage to get... Alright, so Taku, the thing about a sentry is that it can't shoot you unless it can see you. So big sap coming in there. They get the sentry. It's just a minute left, but you can see like the humans are not really grouped. The robots are grouped. So here's like 3 robots versus 2, 3, 4 humans. So it's like 4 versus 3. And the rest are just kind of slogging back. And then more people are joining, so there's going to be like additional robots joining the team, and that's going to be like the nail in the coffin, because we couldn't even push it. But here's like, this is a great number. Like you can see this robot isn't really healing anyone. If we had a single pyro, you could just air blast them into the corner, or air blast them away from the cart. So I think that's also a detriment. Like we had a pyro, but then we didn't have a pyro. And then Enigmas joins with a robot that hasn't really gotten the tweaks it needs yet because the code isn't working right, so the rockets deal too much damage. But this is like a robot that is kind of a noob stomper at the moment, because you can just right click and then you split the rockets into 4. And it's a bit easy to use, but it's getting there eventually. But I don't think like that should be the reason why they're winning so hard. Now finally, in the last few moments, the dispenser is in a place where it's actually useful. But yeah, Tone Technician gonna jump in and do some stuff, and they have this. Medic hasn't died. We really haven't had any snipers just doing damage or shelling the robots, so the pressure has been kind of bad for the humans altogether. I tried to go heavier at the end, but there's like no way to sustain all that burst damage. You can see he's almost dead too. And there we go. So as soon as Enigma's joined, which is a fairly decent player, the humans basically stood no chance. So and Alp has deployed three banners, which is good, but the team has not been in a position where it's good. Like, we haven't taken the high ground. Like, the team basically just ran through here, through the low ground, and got owned the entire time. So now the teams are switched, because in this mode, it's like the regular payload, 1 team attacks and 1 team defends. And the humans weren't able to deal with the robots when they clustered defensively. And let's see how they deal with the robots clustering on the cart. And the answer is going to be not very well. But let's see exactly what goes wrong here. Because keep in mind, key here is talking and communicating and being like, dude, they're running this robot. We have to use this tool or else we lose. And a lot of times, players don't use the tool and they lose. It's like, dude, it's raining. Put on a raincoat. And they're like, nah, this umbrella will help me in the tsunami. And it's like, get to high ground to deal with the tsunami. No, this umbrella that helped me when it was slightly raining is going to help during the tsunami. And then the tsunami hits and they get washed away. And they're like, damn, if only I had more umbrella. So the composition that the robots have isn't that great. Also, there's like a trick you can do as a robot that if you build a sentry, you can switch to another robot and the sentry stays. Alright, so he has switched to the robot he plays the most because it's the easiest robot to play right now if you know how to do it. So they come out here with the shield, and we have an Uber and crits, but we're not focusing the robots that matters. So right now the key is kill the healers and then kill the rest of the stuff. But this quick fix medics is actually pretty darn strong, and also combined with him is also pretty good. So what would be good here? It's actually just regular rocket launcher, maybe a Bison, a Pyro or more would be good, because if you are a Pyro, you can deny this robot from doing anything, because he can only really shoot 1 rocket at a time in order to explode it into 4, and if you reflect that rocket at any time, either you reflect the 4 rockets or you reflect the rocket and he can't detonate it. And Taku just gets absolutely destroyed there. So now the robots are sort of gathering on the cart here. So what would be good here is for humans to get around. Like, this sentry's hard, but if you have a spy, you can get around, and if you have the ambassador, you can just stand and like headshot them from afar, and they have to turn around. But right now, all of the robots, they're just allowed to look one direction, and that makes lives very easy for them. So we have some sort of like flank here, but there's no way you're gonna get past through this sentry, which just got another kill. And then they are setting up this. But now the humans, we have a lot of time. Like, this card is slow, so the humans should be able, in theory, to set up a massive defense, maybe around this area, maybe a little bit further back where we can get everything right. And Crosshair has decided that, you know what, they're not running a single tank. They have a robot that destroys stuff up close. I'll be Demo Knight. Yes. And then also, you know, the concave of how the humans are attacking isn't great here. But we have the engineer bot. This is like, the rocket launcher has increased explosion radius, so that's actually pretty good. So it's going to use a banner, and you have to find... Nope, just pops it on himself. Okay. So you want the least amount of value for your buff banner there. Because, like, did you know that if you go to an engineer, the engineer... Alright, so you can see, like, there's not a lot of, like, super optimal play here. Where you have, like, the buff banner, which is an amazing tool. You can just buff all your teammates. You give it to no one else than yourself. And then the robots are just rolling through. And everybody just dies. Look here, it's like 4 robots, 1 demo man tries to do something. We got Sluffer, and here we have the Demo Knight. He goes in, he hits a guy twice, and then he just kind of chills up here for a bit. He would have been infinitely more useful if he had used any kind of projectile that does splash damage. But the damage coming out here, so here's important, like, who do Dillaray focus here? And the answer is, well, whoever you can. But the this robot, the ChatGPT, is so freaking strong. And OP, probably one of the better robots. And the robots can just take any fight they want, pushing the cart. And they can delete any projectiles they want. But luckily, we have a lot of engineers, and they have a mini sentry, so the robots should be shaking in their boots. So what we could have done in this meantime is set something up on this roof here, and the robots can't go up there, so you can just shell stuff. But that doesn't happen. Instead, this Crust guy, who just literally got killed by this, goes in and does the same thing again. So that's the guy with the umbrella that's been hit by the second tsunami, thinking that the umbrella will work. But he says it's fun. It's fun to get absolutely destroyed and not be able to play. You know, I've seen that argument. It's so dumb. But yeah, robots coming in here. Okay, so here's a big respawn wave here. Humans can actually fight this. So we have the vaccinator, which is pretty good here. So you just, like, for some reason, this engineer bot doesn't notice this giant robot dancing around, and he dies. So I think if he'd seen that, he would have lived. And then somehow all the humans died. And then there's a sentry here, and the Dillaray is like the only one left. And there's really nothing humans can do about this at this point. I mean, you had the entire map to adapt. Their robots didn't change robots once. So yeah, if you want to stop this, get a pyro, reflect the rockets, get some electric weapons, and just shell them, and they die. So yeah, that was a cast. I hope you guys enjoy that, and hope to see you to join in the game as well. We play pretty regularly, and this mode is always in the state of balance. Just keep it, or rebalancing, just keep in mind that good players on robots usually do really well, and you gotta counter them hard. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.